And do you guys see now that the number of companies that are looking for a new hire to hire new people or sourcing new candidate, these numbers are increasing, or you feel like it's more short? It's getting a little bit shorter after all these layoffs by big tech companies. What do you guys have like, or what are your perspective over there?
So there definitely is caution from clients. We've had a few clients maybe reevaluate their budget, or that they're holding off hiring till H2 just so their budgets align. They might have overspent budget last year with a lot of hires and just like hoping that it balances out. We're finding contracting is actually getting a lot more popular with clients and candidates as well. But usually if the market is a little unsteady or a little unpredictable, companies and candidates do tend to go contracting. So I'd say the permanent market is definitely on seeing it a lot slower, whereas Ryan, you probably would agree with myself to say that like contracting is definitely busier, which isn't always the case. Like last year it was, I would say 80% permanent hiring and 20% contracting, whereas now I would say it's definitely top heavy to contracting. Companies are still hiring, they still have budget, but I think it's actually hiring like full-time employees. I don't think reluctant is the right word, but that there definitely is some caution there that they have the workload there for the candidate if they hire them. But yeah, I think a lot of companies have read the news and are kind of saying, should we hold off? Should we stop? We don't want to have to be the ones to next lay off. So maybe have just put a pause on things at the moment.
Yeah, I think we've seen particularly a shift in potentially attitude on the market as well. Like, look, we're recruiters, we talk to candidates every day. You know, I would work contract roles, and a lot of the kind of, let's say last year when you would talk to a candidate about a contract role, there was a lot of hesitancy around it because it seems unstable. I think a lot of developers and engineers and architects, they kind of believe that a contract is a short-term solution, whereas I think what's becoming more evident is the fact that it isn't necessarily a short-term solution. Like, contracts don't have to just be the 6 months or the 3 months and you're done, you know. I think the market is kind of realizing that now, and with all the perm layoffs that we've seen from some of the bigger tech companies, I think it's kind of pushed people to maybe consider different avenues. You know, if you're in a perm position and you think, you know, you're untouchable or you're way more, let's say, secure than you would be in a contract, I think people are now realizing that, you know what, like maybe contract could be the way to go. You know, there's a lot of demand for contractors. It's obviously a nice way to work as well. So I do think that's sort of something that we've noticed, is more and more candidates kind of open to the idea of contracting. And I think that is off the back of, you know, you see the layoffs that have come about. I would say the majority have been permanent employees, which is really interesting because I think it's surprising as well, because I think people would have thought maybe contractors would have been the first to go, but you know, the work still has to get done when headcount has to maybe be reduced.
Absolutely. So like, just one thing to note on that, Lucas, it's like contractors aren't actually included in headcount. So it's the budget for contractors usually sits within the division or under the hiring manager for that project. So that could be the technologies used, that could be the infrastructure that you got to bring in, but it also includes contractors. So that budget is usually approved the year before for the hiring manager. So when layoffs do take place, like on paper and to the stakeholders, these contractors aren't their employees. It's more like, I guess, like fixed income to the project, if that makes sense. So that's what we're finding. I would say 99% of the contractors are still in their role, even if it's in the same companies that did have layoffs. So maybe that's why the market has kind of shifted to that. Clients as well, they don't know what to predict in the next year, but like they still want to move forward with their project, so it's becoming a bit more favorable to them. Obviously, if budgets are reduced, contractors, there's no legal agreement there. It's you, if the project is finishing or there's no budget, then you can just give notice. So there is that flexibility there for them to continue moving forward. But then in the next year or so, if there is to be continuing a downturn, there is a lot more flexibility there from the candidate side and the client side, maybe more so than full-time employment.
All right, interesting. Okay, so you mentioned H2. What this stands for?
That's probably very sales talk or recruitment talk. So we would divide, like, so usually budgets within companies are done quarterly, or it could be done in half. So at the moment we're currently in Q2, whereas H1 would be January to June, and then H2 would be July till December. So a lot of companies would say, listen, we're going to hold off hiring to H2, which means maybe the summertime, September time, just so our budgets can align.
All right.
Is usually what that means. So companies mainly talk in quarters, but I guess for us now, they're saying hiring is kind of on pause till July time. So for us, that would be H2.
All right. Okay. Cool. And all right. Yeah. So.